So what does it mean? Let's bring in NewsNation's political editor and anchor of The Hill Sunday, a good show, Chris Stirewalt. Good to see you.
Oh. Well, thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
No, it's good. You're different. You understand the process in a way that I think that people who've been doing it for a while on Sunday mornings, you kind of get caught up into the routine and the dialogue and the relationships, and you have a freshness to it that I think is certainly going to resonate over time. So the governors come out and they say, we're good. Biden's our guy. Is that the end of the conversation?
No. And I think you diagnosed correctly the situation that Democrats find themselves in. They had talked themselves into the idea over time. You know what? Biden's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. And then when the dam breaks and all of a sudden it becomes okay to say that he's not okay, the trickle turns into a stream and it might turn into a river. And what Joe Biden's trying to do today is shore up the wall again, right? Bring these folks in, get them on board. These are, as you point out, influential people, not only in their states, but they're national figures. Wes Moore, as you said, the future of the Democratic Party in some ways. Bring them in and get them to put themselves on the line. I'm with the guy. I'm not turning my back on him as the members of Congress are turning their backs on him. We're standing with the guy. Whether they can get that wall rebuilt will depend substantially on what the polls that we see and the polls that they see internally tell them.
I don't buy that shame on Biden's team for hiding his diminished capacity. I don't think they've hidden anything. Biden is, to kind of paraphrase Dennis Green, remember him, the Minnesota Vikings coach? They are who we thought they were. Biden is who we thought he was. He's not good on his feet. How many times do you have to see it? I just think that it is your point, that it's not that it's new, it's just that it's now. And maybe they got lucky in having this debate early, not because it paid off the way they wanted it to, but they're getting the consternation out of the way because there have been a lot of the people in the party that don't like Biden.
I don't blame the White House for trying to make people think that Joe Biden was more vigorous and sharper than he is. That's their job. That's what they do. And people who are yelling at a campaign or an administration for putting a rosier spin on things, that's hogwash, right? Of course they do that. That's what they do. I do think, though, that there is some ruefulness, some self-recrimination going on in the press because the narrative of Biden is okay and everything is fine and actually he's not that old. There was a lot of that going on in the media instead of a frank take. Let's be honest. The Republicans did not have it within themselves to say to Donald Trump what they should have said after January 6th, which is absolutely not. You're not fit for this. You can't do this. We don't want you. And because of what base voters wanted, they didn't do it. Right? They thought about it. Kevin McCarthy thought about it. Mitch McConnell thought about it, but they didn't do it. Here are Democrats. Biden's weak with the Democratic base. You alluded to this at the top of the show. He's not strong with the Democratic base. So as these folks think about doing something, and look, maybe it's the right thing, maybe it's the wrong thing. It's not my place to say for them, but they're considering something that they should have considered a long time ago, which is, should we tell this guy, should they have told Joe Biden in 2022, no, not you. We love you, but no, you can't run. You're too old. Now they're thinking about it.
Hey, thank you for watching. Please go to newsnationnow.com, newsnationnow.com, and you can find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button down below. Then you will get more of NewsNation's fact-driven coverage.